Hey everybody, David the AI Guide here. Welcome to another episode on the AI Guide where we're making AI human. What does that mean? That means we focus on the human impact of AI and all the associated exponential technologies that AI is enabling. And today's story is spot on with what I just said. Spot on. But before that, just click that link below and get the free resources. The resources are free. Everything in the resources is free, and it'll give you a lot more information about AI than we can cover in these short episodes. And this will help prepare you for an AI-dominated future that will be here by the end of this decade. So, word to the wise, be prepared. So why did I say today's story was spot on with my introduction? Because here is an article that just came out, and this article is Christopher Mims of the Wall Street Journal, and this article is a trip. When we ask chatgpt or another bot to draft a memo, email, or presentation, we think these artificial intelligence assistants are doing our bidding. A growing body of research shows they can also change our thinking without us even knowing it. One of the latest studies in this vein found that when subjects were asked to use an AI to help them write an essay, that AI could nudge them to write an essay either for or against a particular point of view, depending on the bias of the algorithm. Performing this exercise also measurably influenced the subject's opinions on the topic after the exercise. So this is very, very interesting, especially coming from a media source, because media sources don't like to acknowledge that they're biased, but these are human beings that have been writing articles up until very recently, and they have their own biases, and those biases are reflected in their stories, just like the biases of an AI algorithm from its training are reflected in that AI algorithm story. There's no difference when you think about it. They are calling this phenomenon latent persuasion. The best defense against this is making people aware of it. All of this could lead to a future in which people choose which AIs they use. Now, people already do that with other technologies, right? Some people use Gmail, some don't. Some people use Apple phones, some people don't. You know, those choices are made all day. So a choice of which AI to use would be consistent with what's been happening. By extension, in the future, companies and other organizations might offer AIs that are purpose-built from the ground up for different tasks. One study from 2021 showed that AI-powered automatic responses that Google's Gmail suggests, which tend to be quite positive, influence people to communicate more positively in general. I can tell you that I personally can attest to that, because I tend to, in emails, be sort of cryptic and to the point, right? But a lot of times, because of the email suggested text, I lighten up. Building tools that will allow users to engage with AI to craft emails, marketing material, advertising, presentations, spreadsheets, and the like is the express goal of Microsoft and Google. And we recently talked about Microsoft's new CoBot that we have to upgrade our system at work to be able to use it, and I can't wait. I think it's going to be great. On Wednesday, Google announced that its latest large language model, Palm 2, will be used in 25 different products across the company. So much for pausing development of large language models. That didn't happen, which I predicted, as you know, several times. Nothing will stop technologists from generating AI models. There's nothing that's going to stop that. In Dr. Naamans' research, the topic that subjects were moved to change their mind about was whether or not social media is good for society. And the reason they picked that topic is because people tend not to have strong feelings about it. If someone has strong feelings about something, they're very unlikely to change their mind. That's well documented in psychological studies now. That's why society is getting more polarized, by the way. Potential negative uses of this feature of generative AI abound. Think autocratic governments. Even absent any ill intent, students might be unconsciously nudged to adopt certain views when using AIs to help them learn. And there's a lot of discussion, of course, about how the professors in colleges influence their students one way or another. No kidding, they're human beings. Of course that happens. How could it not? It's not possible to completely dispassionately teach something. It's impossible. And to expect that is ridiculous. AI algorithms do reflect opinions gained from their training, and those opinions can be measured. Dr. Hashimoto and his colleagues analyzed a bunch of data from the Pew Research Center, which puts out all kinds of great information if you're interested in society and demographics and stuff like that. The distribution of responses of large language models from companies like OpenAI do not match those of Americans overall. Of all the groups surveyed by Pew, the views of OpenAI's models most closely matched were the views of college-educated people. No kidding. Again, that's who's programming them. Of course it matches. This all makes sense, and it shouldn't be surprising. It all entirely makes sense. Because of the complexity of these systems and the open-endedness of interactions with them, it seems very difficult to entirely remove opinions and subjectivity without also sacrificing the utility of these systems. College is the same. It's a ridiculous argument. They're supposed to teach you critical thinking in college so you make up your mind for yourself, no matter what you're being taught. They inevitably represent the opinions and biases contained in the text they ingest. Those opinions are further shaped, deliberately or not, by the process of giving these models human feedback. So all models, when they're developed, receive human review to make sure that they don't say something like completely crazy. And that human review also, as a human being, they're biased, so it ends up biasing the system further. Dr. Hashimoto pointed out evaluating the opinions of AIs will be an ongoing task. Again, this is not surprising. Once people are equipped with the information about the biases of AIs they're using, they might decide on that basis which one to use. It's also possible that people will find that they can consciously use the power of AI to nudge themselves towards expressing different points of view and styles of communication. I personally like that, right? I don't want to get narrow and rigid in how I interact with people. I want to be able to be flexible about doing that. So none of this stuff is surprising. That's the main point of this story. It all makes sense. Algorithms are created by biased humans. Biased algorithms are reviewed by biased humans. Bias is going to be in algorithms. I like what they're suggesting here, that over time there may be the development of AI algorithms that suit you personally. There's a massive problem with that. That will further increase the polarization and conflict in society. It's like with social media, where all of the studies say if you're liberal or conservative, you seek out information that's either liberal or conservative and do not listen to the other side. This is an ongoing problem, and society in general not just here in the US, but globally. Every country on earth faces this problem because, after all, we're all human, aren't we? Take care. Click that link below. Get the free resources. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for your support. We'll see you next week. Have a great week, everybody.